Hi, welcome to our first ACT SAT help video. You guys will be taking either the SAT or the ACT your spring of your junior year. So all juniors are required to take it. And so I thought you should probably know some basic information. So the first thing is, why should you even take the ACT and SAT? Other than it's required by the state, all U.S. colleges accept the ACT and SAT scores. It is a general test of what you've learned in high school, and you can take it multiple times and send only the scores you want. There are so many resources that can help you study and prepare, and we'll talk about those in this slide. So when should you take the ACT and SAT? The questions that you need to ask yourself are, what level math are you studying? What do your activities look like on your calendar? And what grade are you in? For the math, you need to know basic arithmetic, algebra 2, and a little bit of pre-calculus. So it's recommended that you take the test after you take algebra 2. The other thing that you need to look at is, how busy are you? What's on your calendar? If you're involved in something in the fall, then make sure you take the test in the spring, and vice versa. What grade are you in? The test is good for 7 years. So you can start taking it pretty much your 8th grade year, maybe even your 7th grade year. But most people recommend you start taking it your junior year. So there are many factors to determine which test you should take. So let's look at this form. So I'm not going to go over everything, but you'll notice that both of them are widely accepted, and they do measure a little bit different. The ACT measures what you learned in high school, and the SAT measures what you learned in high school as well as what you need to succeed in college. So the SAT actually gives you your math formulas. The ACT does not. The essay is optional on both, and as of a couple years ago, neither test will penalize for guessing. So don't leave any of your questions blank. When they call 5 minutes, you fill in all the bubbles. So there's different formats. Let's look at how long will this test take. I recommend that you always do the essay section, because some colleges will accept that instead of making you take English 101 or 102, depending on how well you do. So that can save you a couple $1,000s depending on your college. They're both about the same amount of time, so just carve out the fact that you're going to be there from 8 o'clock in the morning till after lunch. Both are about 3 hours. So the SAT is 3 tests and the ACT is 4 tests. You'll notice the number of questions does vary. There's 154 questions on the SAT and 215 on the ACT. There are 3 breaks for the SAT and 2 for the ACT. The SAT gives you approximately 1 minute and 10 seconds per question, and the ACT gives you 49 seconds per question. So there are a lot of different questions for the SAT and for the ACT. One of the major differences that I want you to notice is that the ACT gives you a science test, and that is where the amount of questions changes. So if you're really good in science and that's your forte, then I suggest you take the ACT first. If science is a little scary, then try taking the SAT first. So that's just a couple things, and you can go back on this slide and look at some of the other things that you can that are the differences. So what do you need to sign up? Both tests have an all virtual registration. You will need a picture ID, whether or not that's your school ID or your state issued ID, like your license. Either one of those is fine. You will also need that ID the day of the test. So don't forget that the morning of. A credit card is required to pay for the test. And then you'll also need reliable internet service. And these are the two websites that require you to take the test. You'll also need to take a picture with a background that is plain, like the one that I have. If you don't have one of those pictures, the librarian, myself, will be glad to help you take those pictures. But basically, it's from the chest up, pretty much where I'm at now. And it has a plain background, no hair in your face, and they basically get to see who you are. So, what should you do to study for the test? Read, 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 read all the time. The best indicator for test scores is a lifelong reader. You can also take practice tests. These are available online, and there are practice books which you can purchase. Most people know about the Big Blue Book for SAT, and that is still available. But there is also one for the ACT too, and both of them are very, very large books, but they have practice tests, practice questions, advice on how to get through the test, and just all kinds of great information. So if you can get one, make sure that it's a updated book, because there are older books out there. So make sure you get one that's updated, probably 2018 or above is my suggestion. Once you take the practice test, you really need to analyze the test questions. This is extremely important. And yes, it is time consuming. But knowing the questions that you got wrong and why you got them wrong will help teach you how to do better in the future. That applies for everything you do. What did I do wrong? How can I do it right in the future? So make sure you take the time to analyze the questions. You can also ask help from your teachers. There are many teachers at West Florence and other schools that will help you. If there's a question that you're like, I still don't know why I got this wrong, take it to your English teacher, take it to your math teacher, and we'll help you. The other thing that I would suggest is that you practice, and then practice some more. Just like a sport or an instrument, the more you practice, the better you will be at this test. So those are the basic things that you can do to study for the SAT. I hope this has helped you out a little bit, and I hope that you will stay tuned for more videos on how to do better on the SAT or the ACT. Bye.